Tonight we have exclusive details on a twisted story involving murder for hire, revenge, and the killing of a teenager who knew too much. Police discovered the trail of the 2 victims and the 3 people responsible when a Jane Doe was found dead on the city's west side. 7 Action News reporter Jeff Vaughn joins us live tonight from Public Safety Headquarters. Jeff, this one is hard to believe.
It certainly is, Heather. Detroit police working on these crimes for months now. It started out as a murder case and it's turned into much, much more. That investigation ended Wednesday with 3 arrests.
This made-for-Hollywood story involves 5 people. 2 are dead and the other 3 in jail. The case involved Lakesha Peete. Police say she hired someone to kill her husband. Then she, her son, and his half-sister killed a family friend who found out about the plot. Police got the first clues in August of last year when a body was found here on Fullerton near the Southfield Freeway by a man interested in buying the abandoned property. What he found was 18-year-old Laquita Logan dead in the stairwell, stabbed and shot. The body near a blood-stained sheet, a blue tarp, and a knife. The sources tell 7 Action News Logan was killed because she knew Lakesha Peete hired someone to kill her husband over $1 million life insurance policy. Police will not release the name of Lakesha's late husband or how he died, but he's dead, and so is Logan, who found out about the murder plot while living in Lakesha's basement here on the west side. Lakesha had help in killing the teenager. Police say her son Kenwan Peete and his half-sister Deja Gatewood all beat and stabbed Logan before she was shot in the head, and then dumped right next door. With Logan out of the picture, the 3 were hoping to cash in on the dead man's new $1 million policy. But they had problems getting the insurance money. So police sources tell me Kenwan took over his father's business of dealing drugs.
Detectives tell me that this case was solved mainly through DNA and through confessions. Now those 3 have charges pending. They most likely will include murder, murder for hire, and drugs. Live in Detroit, Jeff Vaughn, 7 Action News. Heather.
Wow, that's a wild one. Thank you so much, Jeff.
In the heart of Detroit's urban expanse, Lakesha Tulani Peete cast a looming shadow, a mother whose seemingly ordinary exterior was contradicted by a chilling undercurrent of malice. Within the walls of her unassuming home on the west side, a sinister plot unfolded, driven by a relentless pursuit of wealth at any cost. Lakesha Peete's lies and trickery began to unravel when a young woman's body was found on Fullerton, near the Southfield Freeway, in the city of Detroit. It was 18-year-old Laquita Logan. A businessman who was interested in buying an abandoned property discovered the tragic scene, the dead body lying next to a knife, a bloody sheet, and a blue tarp. The autopsy revealed the unimaginable horrors that this young woman was subjected to. Logan was brutally beat, stabbed, and shot in the head. Her fate, an unimaginable nightmare, allegedly orchestrated by Lakesha Tulani Peete. Authorities revealed the shocking details of how Logan was murdered. Police believe that Lakesha Peete hired someone to murder her husband and killed her tenant Laquita Logan because she knew what she did. Allegedly, Peete was worried that Logan would start talking and spoil her chance on cashing in her late husband's $1 million life insurance policy. Lakesha Peete was supposed to be helping the teenage girl by giving her a place to stay, letting her reside in the basement of her home. In reality, Peete was a wolf in sheep's clothing, taking part in the interrogation and multiple assaults on Logan that played a role in her death. Allegedly, Lakesha Peete knew that if the truth got exposed, she would likely never get a penny from her late husband's life insurance policy. Unwilling to risk the chance of losing the blood money she was expecting, she began the plot to murder her tenant, Laquita Logan. Lakesha saw an opportunity to weave a web of deceit, allegedly, for a prize she deemed worthy of shedding blood for. The trial court described Pete's behavior as particularly heartless, considering the fact that Logan was someone Peete had taken into her home and thought of her as a sister. Pete's stepdaughter Deja testified that she heard Peete say that she beat Logan. It's believed that Lakesha Peete's and the other perpetrators' violent behavior was a tactic to make Logan much more scared and full of anxiety, hoping this will assist them in getting her to provide information. Although Lakesha may not have wielded the blade or pulled the trigger, Laquita suffered unspeakable violence in her home, and she participated. Ken Wan testified that Logan was confronted in Lakesha's home regarding the murder of Kenneth Peete. They were in the upstairs bedroom when Lakesha Peete hit Logan. Peete left the house once Logan was taken down to the basement. Allegedly, without Logan, the trio hoped to receive the payment from Kenneth Peete's $1 million policy, but investigators say they faced difficulties getting their hands on the insurance money. News reports stated that after this, Kenjuan Peete took over his late father's drug-dealing business. Peete and her defense argued in court that her son was the leader, but the court did not find that there was a particular defendant who was the leader. It was impossible for Lakesha to put all the blame on her children, when she was one of the very first people to attack Logan, and the entire deadly incident happened in her home, with the majority of it taking place in her basement. According to Ken Wan, Lakesha rejected the suggestion that Logan be taken to the police so that she could confess her participation in Kenneth's murder, because she was concerned that they would be charged with assaulting Logan. Police said that Lakesha paid someone to kill Peete. Then there is the theory that LaQuenta Logan was suspected of being involved in Pete's murder. He was killed during a home invasion in August of 2013. Reportedly, on August 9, 2013, not long after the homicide, Peete, Gatewood, and Kenneth's son, Ken Wan Peete, confronted Logan about suspicions of her playing a part in Kenneth's death. They took Logan to a bedroom in Pete's house and began to physically assault her to force a confession out of her. Later, Logan was taken to the basement, where they continued to interrogate and assault her. The cruelty would only escalate when several other men showed up at the house, sickly joining the vicious beating of Logan. One of those men who arrived at Pete's house was a man named Mario Johnson. He was implicated as the individual who eventually did the callous act of shooting LaQuenta in the head. The medical examiner opined that the cause of death was a gunshot wound to the head and blunt force impact. In my opinion, the story provided of interrogating, beating, and LaQuenta Logan because she was suspected of being involved in Kenneth Peete's murder is far less believable than the crimes being the result of Lakesha trying to get rid of someone who knows she is responsible for the murder-for-hire death of her husband for an insurance payout. Several other individuals were also charged in connection with Logan's death. Ken Wan pleaded guilty, whereby he agreed to testify against Peete and Gatewood if he received a sentence of 5 to 10 years imprisonment. The man who shot and killed LaQuenta, Mario Johnson, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and felony firearm charges. Johnson was sentenced to 23 to 35 years in prison for the murder conviction and an additional 2 years for the felony firearm charge. Testimony from trial revealed that the beating the victim received was so severe that she was left almost unrecognizable. Her face was covered with contusions and abrasions. Evidence at the trial demonstrated that certain injuries on Logan point to some type of object being used by one of Pete's co-defendants. LaQuenta had a fracture on one of her hands and injuries on her chest and legs. The medical examiner explained how the injuries inflicted to the victim's head were so severe, they alone could have caused her death. LaQuenta Logan would have been safer sleeping on the street than she was living at Lakesha Peete's house. Her body was found in an abandoned building in the local area. Nobody deserves the atrocious pain and misery that they inflicted on LaQuenta. She was brutally assaulted for 2 hours. LaQuenta had been living in Lakesha's basement. I doubt that she ever could have imagined that she would die there one day. In the end, this family, Lakesha, Ken Wan, and Lakesha, all told on each other, and Lakesha pointed the finger at her own children. Lakesha Peete and her daughter, Lakesha Gatewood, were both charged with first-degree felony murder, and Peete was found not guilty of felony murder but she was found guilty of the lesser offense of assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder. Lakesha Gatewood was convicted of second-degree murder, and Lakesha Peete was sentenced to 80 months to 10 years imprisonment for her assault conviction, and Gatewood was sentenced to 2 prison terms of 7 to 20 years, one for each of her convictions, to be served concurrently. Within the dim confines of Lakesha's basement, Logan sought solace, unaware of the peril lurking in the shadows. But as the night unfolded, the true extent of Lakesha's depravity was laid bare, as Logan became the unwitting target of a plot steeped in bloodshed and betrayal. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please, don't forget to click the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more true crime videos like this, and want to show your support for my channel, please sign up now and join the Popular Bosses True Crime community on Patreon. You can also help keep this channel growing by donating with Cash App or PayPal. All of my links are in my channel description. I truly appreciate all of you who have been watching my content, subscribing, commenting, and liking my videos. Goodbye for now. We'll meet again on the next episode.